Welcome to Curious with Josh Peck. Start the show.
Here we are again. Can you believe this? I mean, we've got to stop meeting like this. Or maybe we need to keep meeting like this. I am thoroughly enjoying this podcast, and I hope you guys are too. I am a lover and a consumer of podcasts and many auditory experiences. I like a book on tape. I like music. And I love me some podcast. And I feel so honored and grateful that you guys are continuing to go on this ride with me, you beautiful listeners. It's been a great week. I recently got back from a vacation with my wife and some good friends in Hawaii, and we were those people. We go on vacation now. I'm married. We planned this trip 5 months ago, paid for it, and then I'm starting to get a great appreciation about planning a trip and having it to look forward to. And I've heard that over the years as like this important thing, and it's really good to have a trip to look forward to, and it really is. It really is, because then it comes and you go and you do the whole thing. I mean, got to the hotel, got the lei, the flowers around the neck, and go out onto the beach, and you're in the water, and you're like, why don't I do this more? And you're like, because I don't live in Hawaii. That's why I don't just frolic on the beach and in the water on a regular basis. Like, yeah, I live in Southern California, but the beach and the water here are scarier. It's a different experience when you live close to it. But when you're in Hawaii, there's just like there's a new thing that happens. It takes me a while to decompress. I get there and I resent the fact that I'm there because I'm not relaxed and I'm worried about work and what I'm missing and what I could be doing or should be doing. And do I even deserve this vacation? And oh no, my wife can see that I'm uncomfortable and I gotta be grateful because this is so great and look what I'm doing. I'm lucky. Who gets to do this? Very few people. But then 2 or 3 days go by and kind of get into the energy of the place that you're at and let go of back home and what's going on and the comings and goings, and you know that inevitably whatever you had to do will be there waiting for you in a couple of days when you get back. And then you really, that's when you enjoy. That's when the fun happens. And then you go to the other side of it where you're like, I can never go home. Because what's that? That's not life. I can't. This is my new life here, unencumbered, de-stressed. I want to be, maybe I'll work at the pineapple farm here on beautiful Maui, at the Dole factory, and I'll live a simple life. And I won't be worried about views or callbacks or what that executive thought of my script. No, I'm gonna cultivate pineapples and go for morning contemplative walks and or swims. But then you get a little too relaxed and the vacation gets a little long and you're ready to go home and you want the trappings of where you live and the traffic and the restaurants you always eat at and the familiar stress. And so now I'm back and I'm here with you guys talking to my friend Harley, a gem of a guy. You might know him from YouTube and his pretty epic show, Epic Mealtime. I mean, it's not a small YouTube channel. It has over 5, 6, 7 million subscribers, hundreds of millions of views. It's a huge thing, and I'm a huge fan of it and him. Harley's just one of those guys where we met and I just said, I get you. And he said, I get you. And we get each other. And so that is a beautiful thing. So you're going to hear my friend Harley. He's pretty special. He was nice enough to bless me for an hour. He's super talented, funny, Epic Mealtime, huge on YouTube. Now he's doing a bunch of his own new businesses and TV shows. And he's got this incredible new thing called Pizza in a Bag. from Super Snack Time. It's available at Walmart, supersnacktime.com. So you got to check that out. It's pizza flavored jerky. What more do you need to know, really? All right, this is me with Harley. Enjoy.
You want a drink or something?
I'm
here for like a Food Network show, so if you want actually an alcoholic beverage,
Fancy.
Right off, if you want
we can charge this to the Food Network?
yeah.
Wow, I'll have a La Croix then, sir. Thank you, Food Network.
It's so funny, look, while like everyone here drinks them.
Yeah, they're so on trend.
No, but I tried one, and I was like, oh, fuck, LA, come on. I'm like, you guys like this? Shit.
Really?
I'm like, it tastes like someone poured soda water into someone, like someone drank lemonade and finished the cup and put it down, and then someone poured soda water in there, you know, it has that little taste in it.
Yeah, it got a little tinge.
But I do get down with it when I'm like, my water. When I just need a drink, you know. And so usually on set there's like 5,000 LaCroix. Let's do it.
I find I'm so bad on sets too because I find myself stealing for no reason. Like
taking food and bringing it home.
Bad. I don't know why. And I'm like, I have enough money to totally buy my own case of water, but I can't help myself.
I went on, you know that show At Midnight?
Yeah,
like
Chris Hardwick?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I was there, and like one of my buddies came on the show, and like there's like a little fridge, a Red Bull fridge, and there was like 9 Red Bulls in there. Like I grabbed the Red Bull, he grabbed the Red Bull, and then he opened up his bag and he put the 8 Red Bulls in. And I was there, and I was like, is that stealing, or like are we like? It's like, I mean, we could sit here and drink all 8 of them, but is it stealing because you put it in your bag? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, okay.
That's amazing. Yeah, right. Because when is it officially stealing? When it goes in your bag and it's on its way to your house.
But it's almost like you could debate it. You could be like, every single one of these is for me, and they're like only under this roof or in this room. Like, what's the debate of it? You know,
right.
It's like, I don't know. It's funny.
How are you? How are you with craft service in general, right? Because you're a fit guy, and you and I have both I
try.
Been
yeah,
bigger.
I've lost. I've done like I did keto. You know, so that was my thing, and then I stopped doing it. And I got to this place like 2 summers ago where I was like really obsessed about like putting on size.
Right.
And then I noticed my audience didn't like it.
Yeah,
like,
you were too
I was
fit.
automatically a douchebag. No matter what I did, it's like, oh, you think you're so cool, like you think you're better than me. It was like an unintentional slight to all my fat fans or something. And I do have like heavyset fans, so it was like an automatic slight to them.
Right.
And I was like, man, I'm like losing like subs on my vlog, and people are still. And my buddy, who's like, you know, sometimes just a pothead, he's not in the space at all. I was like back in Canada. He was like, well, there's no room for vanity in comedy.
I guess that's right.
I'm like, it's true. I'm like, you know, we were like, oh no, we're like Jonah Hill. Put it back on, bud. Put it back on, you know?
Right.
But
what do you think that is? Is it that it makes people feel bad about themselves, that they see you getting in shape and all of a sudden their whole
they're just like, well, what do you care about these days, bro? Like, what do you care about anymore, you know?
What's your priorities?
You, it's different. You were like 2 people. You know, there's like young Josh Peck and older Josh Peck. So it's like a different thing. Me, it's like all in the last 6 years. I'm like, let's get fat. And then I'm like, oh, what happened?
Right.
Not me. Pick up my protein powder. No, I never sold the protein powder. But like, imagine I just really pivoted on everyone like that and like get them fat. And then
you had a couple hot IG photos. I remember I'd be like, my man, you had cables.
I did.
Those arms.
Yeah, I did. I like off the record literally ate vegan for like 45 days at one point.
Really?
Like low key, we filmed ahead, and I just dropped meat for a bit, and I did a cleanse, and like it was like the one day that like it was literally like half a day I like could see my abs. I like put a picture up on Instagram right away.
Great, of course, absolutely. I mean, with the perfect amount of like fasting and lighting and the right tan, you can look like Mr. Olympia.
I have this great mirror in my bathroom upstairs at like my old house. Excellent mirror.
It's
like,
everything.
No matter what, it's so good.
Yeah.
Cast weird shadows on my face, but like whatever.
So be it.
So be it.
You got to make certain, make acceptance with certain things. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel as though it's weird for me because so many of my comments are like, I liked you better when you were fat. You were funnier when you were fat. And I can't quite tell because sometimes I'll just respond and they'll be like, just kidding, bro. I love you. I just wanted to get your attention. But I think there's something deeper in that.
Well, my response, and I guess like what you're saying, because my response is inspired with what you just said.
Right.
Was some guy was like, you were better when you were fat.
Right.
And I wrote back, I was like, I'm actually the exact same person and I'm just healthier, so I'm in a better place. So if you thought I was better when I was fat, like this is weirdly your own baggage, and I don't know how to handle it. But I think this is your shit.
Totally.
You know, like it's not me, it was him. You know what I mean? Or that's what I thought. And like it's funny because sometimes you can respond back to someone that's saying something.
Right.
And this is my rule because it's not the same for you in a way, but like my brand was like, yo, what up, bitch? I'm gonna fucking, sorry, can I do that?
Please.
Okay.
No holds barred.
Like, what up, bitch? I'm fucking give you dad this bacon, you know? And people would like want to give that back to me.
Right.
Like you get what you give. So I gave out this intense, like at the beginning, like this frat boy drunken, like, you listen up, bitch. So people would see me and be like, listen up, bitch, back. And I'm like, would you just call me a bitch? And then like, you know, like you forget that that's what I gave out in a way. So to you, it's like might be just like hater inspired. Sometimes for me, it was like, is this guy really a toxic person, or is he trying to communicate with the character that I put out there?
Right.
And I remember one time this guy always bashed every single picture, every single video, every single thing. And like, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go block this guy. And I click on his profile. He liked all my stuff. And he was there all the time. And he commented early. And I'm like, oh, he's a fan.
Right.
But he's like, you know, he's there constantly. So my rule was, I'm going to go and I'm going to now, if I ever talk to or respond to a hater, I'm going to go and respond to 10 people that are writing something positive.
Right.
Because it's so easy sometimes, like, you put something up, you thought it was good enough to put up. So if someone's like, oh, this is great, you're like, yeah, no, you know, I feel like it's great too, cool. You know, and you kind of don't think about it. And then someone's like, it's not like they just bash and they go, this is unfunny. Because I'll be like, yeah, maybe it is to you. You know, I don't care about that. But when they say, like, when they make a point about it and the point is just blatantly wrong.
Right.
Where they're like, this is unfunny, I like this better. And you're like, well, actually that, if you look at it, is the exact same thing as this. Like, your one point about it is wrong. And then I'm like breaking it down for this person. Like, I'm justifying it in a weird way.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, the guy who said this was great deserves more of my attention in a way. Because, like, you know, he likes when I'm doing more. He's more positive about it. So if I'm going to go to respond to a negative person, I don't want to inspire all these people to be like, oh, you got to bash Harley. It's the only way he'll respond to you.
But does that speak to the human condition, or just our insecurity as performers, that I can literally gloss over 10 or 20 nice comments and really only see this huge beacon of a douchebaggery comment?
How funny is that? Eh?
Yeah.
It's like, it's so crazy. You're just like, if every positive comment made you feel at the same level that every negative comment made you feel,
Right.
like, where would we be at? Like, it's like every negative one, like sometimes they just stand out. Like, you know, it's,
Right.
I always respond to a negative comment that is like critical and well written. And I get them
Right.
sometimes. Probably like once a month, I'll be like, yo, I got to say something. I've been here for 2 years and this is what I noticed. And it'll be like a little breakdown. And whether I agree or not, I have to like respect that and like show it to the other guys on the team because maybe they agree or see something that I don't, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know, I do that. I've always had like a support system with me on Epic Mealtime. I've always had like a couple guys working with me. And then when I go and do my own stuff, I still have like 5 guys on a salary that still input into my personal brand. So it's like, I have that. Not everyone has that.
Right.
You know, I know some creators that just don't, like, you know, they don't have anyone. They're here from some other country. And like, you know, they're in their early 20s, and I'm just like, man, you know, respect to you, because I would have blown this whole thing if it happened to me at 22. Like, just, you know, no range, just going online and being able to post what I wanted, I would have messed it all up for sure.
Well, I think that's, you know, pertinent to recently with the whole Logan Paul of it all and whatever, and that's been overly commented on. But what I will say is, and what I try to impart on anyone, is that we can get mad at the act and you know, it's something that's inexcusable and needs to be corrected. And I'm not commenting on that. What I'm commenting on is that at 19, I had a small semblance of fame and celebrity, and I was a total knucklehead, sowing my wild oats. And had there been social media and the wrong camera phone at the wrong time, they would have caught me in a moment that could have ruined my life forever. Mm-hmm. But you could have mostly just chalked it up to like dumb adolescence. Mm-hmm. And when you heighten that fame and the money for people at that same age, I'm not surprised when they act accordingly, like when they act in congruence with the age in which they are, which is when you're supposed to do dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably my biggest, number one, most unpopular opinion of the last year is Jake Paul and Logan Paul are some of the hardest workers in the industry.
Without a doubt.
And that's because I've been around Logan Paul on a set, and I've seen what he does and how he like handles phone calls and stays on his own laptop, brings it with him, and takes cuts of his own videos that someone is editing, but he'll still jump in and cut it and send it back, and an hour later it comes. And I've seen that, and it's hard work. And I get that you can't always make the right decisions, and I get that, like, you know, it's almost like when you get that much money, it's your responsibility to get someone to keep you reeled in. So, like, you know, I'm not like a
committee.
I'm not saying like he should be excused because he works really hard and he's probably really tired and messed up. You know, like it was a consistent fuck ups across the board for a period of time there. But sometimes you just look at it and it's like, well, you know, I've seen many creators, not all of them work that hard.
Right.
You know, so it's not like he won like a lottery. And you saw he went from like one platform to another platform. So there's like an amount of work ethic there. It's just that it's like he has that responsibility, I feel like, to make the right decision because he's at the level.
Right.
But we have this weird place, you know, like for yourself, you were in a traditional landscape.
Right.
Like, people are around to make sure you don't fuck up because, like, you know, corporations bank on you being a part of something. Yeah. It's like watched to make sure that it, like, you know, everything is copacetic.
You have media training at like a young age where they make you safe.
And it's interesting to see, like, you know, speaking of media training, like seeing Logan Paul after the fact, you know, like, I mean, it lasted for like a video or so, but just to see what media training looks like.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's like right after that whole thing, I was like, I told my buddy, I'm like, watch this. First thing, haircut. 100%.
Got it.
Video comes up, haircut. I'm like, honestly, you're halfway there.
Yeah, done. Boom. That's how you save the hearts and the minds of your audience.
I met Logan years ago during the like, you know, when he was doing Vine and stuff at the beating. He was a really nice, really young guy. I never really met Jake. I met Logan at another point. He came and did a video with us on Epic Mealtime. It was a branded deal. He was really cool. He was really nice. And then it's like, there's this, like, you know how comments can affect us?
Right.
What if we times it by like 1,000, you know? And I'm not saying, once again, I'm not excusing, but we don't have any studies or knowledge of what that does to people or what that pressure feels like. It's not quite like a Tom Cruise pressure. It's different. It's more accessible. People can go to his house and stand on his front lawn. You know what I mean? It's like a different, weird type of vibe. You know?
They're not insulated from the fame. It's right in their face at all times.
And you heard about what happened with Gavin and Meg?
No.
So Gavin's one of the guys on Slow Mo Guys, and Meg, you know, she used to be on SourceFed and stuff, and, you know, she does like these beautiful pictures and stuff, and, like, you know, she has like an online personality, and some dude broke into their house and walked around with a gun, and they hid in the closet, and then he ended up shooting himself in the head, like in the driveway, and his phone apparently had like things being like, I want,
manifesto.
You know, so like that to me is like, that for me is like I'm not saying, like, once again, not excusing the shortcomings of influencers because it's our responsibility when we're in the space, but like that's the type of shit that can happen that, you know, you don't really think about, you know. And there was that girl who was an influencer and a singer a couple years ago that got shot at her meetup. Right. Like, you don't know, like,
fucking terrifying.
Who knows what type of DMs or weird stuff or things that maybe is said and like how it gets to people and stuff. You know what I mean? We're in like a strange place with influencers.
Well, I get weird texts, and I'm just Josh from Drake and Josh, but people that come into my DMs are fucking weird. It's like, it's very, and like every couple weeks I'll like do a deep dive, and I'll be like, yo, this is going to get heavy. But I think, you know, my feeling is, and what you're saying too, is like, of course there are certain things that are like inexcusable and that people shouldn't come back from. But, you know, I think what's more likely is that people in the public eye on a public stage are capable of being fallible and making mistakes. And what I'm more interested in is, if they are human and they do make mistakes, what do they do after? And do they use it as an opportunity to teach and to learn, to correct their behavior and do better for the next? And then I think it's incumbent on all of us to forgive. And I think so much of our culture, especially now, is like, if you mess up even slightly, it's like, go away forever to the land of like lost entertainers because you are no longer allowed to play the game. But I don't know, I get older, I'm 31 now, and I'm like, just shit is not that black and white. No. Sometimes it is, but...
No, it's true. It's completely different. It's like, it's not black and white, but we try and black and white it.
Right.
And then some people end up like in like the black or the white.
Right.
And it is a gray thing, but we still need it to go one way or the other. You know, like it's still like, you know, the last time I'll go back to Logan.
Yeah, please.
Logan when he like tasered the dead rat.
Right.
You know, what's her name? David Dobrik's girlfriend.
Liza.
So yeah, I saw a video where, you know, she stabs a dead fish.
Right.
But we don't hate her publicly. So we
Right.
don't think about that, you know? But it's almost like, oh, you're fresh out of a mistake. You're in this weird zone.
Purgatory.
Where it's like, don't do anything until we forget about this.
Till
and
we
then
decide.
you can go back to whatever. And to the same thing, like to the same sense, like, you know, and this is like a topic that's like, you know, like definitely a heavy topic, but like, you know, the Me Too movement, Time's Up, it's like it's an important thing. And there's also an element of, you know, like with Aziz Ansari, where it's like, you know, something happens and then he like says like, okay, like he, you know, he comes out and he accepts responsibility for it. And then there's this downtime of, well, don't do anything for now,
right?
You know, and even like Facebook with what they're going through, that's not even a person, it's a corporation,
right?
They like pull back a bit, you know, while they're being investigated or if they're under the spotlight for something, you know what I mean? It's like there's this weird, like everything is operating around the scope of the social media and how fast everyone can kind of jump in on something, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, sometimes I feel like if aliens were going to come and invade the Earth, and they're going to come and it's literally, we all know aliens are coming and they're going to attack the Earth and we're all going to be enslaved, someone might be like, whoa, 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 look at this guy made a homosexual slur on Twitter. And they're like, oh, let's talk about that. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, sometimes it's like, and I'm not saying that shouldn't happen, you know, like
right.
We all have responsibilities and we should handle that stuff. But like, there's a strange, it's almost like the hive mind decides what is important to discuss and what is not. And it's a strange, like, I don't want to say popularity contest, but there's an element of like, we like to build people up on a pedestal and take them down, you know? We all make Facebook accounts and give it all our information. Then 10 years later, we're like, oh, you suck for having all our information. You know, it's like a strange building up on the pedestal and tearing it down. I feel like we've been doing that in society forever. And now it's come to the social media place. You know, it's like on YouTube now.
Well, it's people, I think, too, that threaten. I think for most people, they've settled into a certain level of normality and perhaps not to be judgmental, but like accepted a certain level of mediocrity or routine in their life. And so then when there are these outliers and people that are threatening that, and you're seeing, I mean, I've been around people that I loved, like truly loved, who, like I remember I made a movie with Chris Hemsworth, Red Dawn, and like...
Loved, by the way.
Thank you.
I swear I actually do. I actually watched it again not too long ago.
It's, you know, it stands
I saw
out.
the OG one, so I was excited when it came out.
Respect.
And I didn't grow up Drake and Josh, so I, you know, Canada, it's like we didn't get Nickelodeon French Canada. So like I didn't know it, and like, you know, when I would just watch it, you know, I was like, it's funny, like watch it now and be like, look at this little guy here. Look at this guy.
Different guy.
Yeah, but you said Red Dawn, Chris Hemsworth.
So we do Chris Hemsworth, and Chris is literally a gem, and you know, it's basically the whole package, like gorgeous, nice, talented.
Can he dance though?
Probably could. Probably tear up a rug.
He's like, give me 3 hours, I'll learn it.
He's like, I got it, mate. Fucking do a two-step right now, Dougie right now, mate.
Oh yeah, and that. And he speaks with an excellent American accent.
And he's Australian, and I just remember, and he couldn't have been sweeter, and it had nothing to do with him, but literally being around him because we shot before Thor came out, and then seeing the next 1.5 to 2 years of the Marvel Thor effect of it all, it was just hard for me to be around because he was so famous and crushing it so hard that I couldn't help but look to myself and be a little bit like, what the fuck are you doing, Josh? Like, you're falling off. And it's like, and I could imagine for him, it probably happened with other friends where maybe they slightly pulled back, having nothing to do with him, but it forced them to look at themselves. And it's a trippy kind of balance. Since then, we're great. But, you know, and that's someone I love. So especially someone who you've made a snap judgment about, you've watched in the media, they're crushing it so hard, and then they have this one misstep and you're like, I knew it.
Yeah.
Like, I knew you didn't deserve this.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get it. It's almost like there is an element of, and I thank God that like I had a job before, like I had like a career You know
Right.
what I mean? And even working in social media isn't the same. I've been on traditional sets, like they're hard
Right.
work. They are long days, you know what I mean? But like I was a teacher before. So like I value that because
Right.
like
You're a
I could
history teacher,
yeah,
right?
exactly, in high school, and I could see how like some people, like when you have that job and you have like a boss and you have those hours, how you can resent someone who is, putting an image out there where it's like, oh, I'm going to the video game convention.
Right.
And tonight I'm going to be on Snoop's podcast smoking
Yeah.
a blunt or what, and you're like, that's a job. And it's like
unboxing a drone for 3 million views.
It's like, oh, I got to throw out my old TV because I just got a new TV and I have to open it up the box. That's my, yeah, I got to open up the box. But people would look at that and be like, that's not real. And like, I get that, but a lot of people who don't know the space don't realize you put in double the work behind the scenes to make it look like you're chilling.
Right.
Like you have to look like you're chilling. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
no matter what image gets put out there, it's like people want to be happy and they want to see good stuff. They don't want to see like, your relationship fights.
Right.
So you don't put that out there. So then like maybe they're just like, oh, like relationship goals. And it's like, well, you don't actually know what it's really like. You know what I mean? Or stuff like that. And there's always like the element of like, a relationship. It's just like pressure because of the online community, or like you're always like let's say you do a fitness channel and it's like you're always supposed to have a six-pack, even though
Right.
like people cycle in and out of phases throughout a year, and it's like you'll always be, or people will always be critical if they don't
Right.
realize that there's a lot of work put in behind the scenes to do some of this stuff. And sure, some people get lucky and maybe they just keep getting lucky and coast on their luck. But, I've seen some creators, man, like bust their heads and literally like almost lose their minds and get like affected by comments. And I think every creator I've met and got to know has an element of insecurity. And I started to realize my own insecurities with certain things and corrected them. And that's just come with age,
Right.
There's like certain things where I'm like, well, that's just, that's how it is. And I'm a 32-year-old man now and I'm
Right.
comfortable with like, that's how it is, Something like that. It's like, it's people, there's expectations and
And I think it's being obsessed with the finish line and an idea that once this happens, I'll be fixed. And if I get X amount of followers or money in the bank or prestige or that supermodel or what have you, like, and those are all lovely, I'm sure, or so I've heard. But like, I think that's what I've found for me, especially having friends that have attained such success, is that there are moments of incredible joy and excitement, but the reality is that most of it, like life, is just sort of straight down the middle. I remember Seinfeld was interviewing Obama, and they were sort of talking about how do they withstand the test of time, staying who they are, and they both sort of had this similarity where they said it's a love of the work. That at the end of the day, like Seinfeld loves writing jokes and loves the craftsmanship of it and getting up on a stage and performing. And so I think that's the saving grace, right? If you love the work, then the result becomes less important.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyone who would, and I agree with that, because anyone who would come to me and be like, what's some good advice for someone who wants to break into this space?
Yeah.
And I would always say, like, it's just the most important thing is you have to do something you love. If you look and you're like, whoa, pranks are hot these days, I'm going to make a prank, but like you're not into, tricking people or something. You're not really a trickster at heart.
Right. You don't want to get knocked out in the ghetto because you made some bad prank video.
Then like you'll end up hating your job.
Right.
And another thing is like some people I know will use or want to approach social media as a means of like, oh, that's how I get famous.
Right.
And my end game was never, I want to be famous. When people were like, oh, what do you want to do? I used to be like, oh, I want to make like a movie or be in a movie. Like I loved movies. I saw Terminator 2 when I was like 5 years old in theaters. It blew my mind. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do forever. Like I thought about that.
So you did have an idea early on that you wanted to be an entertainer.
I played with my dad's camera and stuff like that. Like made like shitty videos at home and things like that. Like
anyone in your family in performing or
no. They're just like Jewish families. So they're like, yeah, but what do you really want to do that's realistic? Like,
doctor, lawyer, accountant.
Exactly.
Right.
So like, I mean, it's like there's just I always knew I wanted to do that, and then I know that there are people out there where strangely enough, they're like, I just want to be famous.
Right.
What's your goal? I just want to be like on a billboard. And it's like, but what's your billboard? Like just you? You know, like is it like vote like for you as president? I don't know, or like buy your album or check out the show. It's
Yeah,
like
what's this?
to have the billboard as an end game. It's like almost the audience can see through your work and see that you're just using this as a means to an end.
Right.
If someone's like, what do I do? I'd be like, just make sure you love it. Make sure you want to do it. Make sure you like, you know, like I like food.
Right.
So like it was easy. I like hanging with my friends and being an idiot. So if the show's being an idiot with my friends and food, like I could do that for 8 years now.
Right.
If I didn't like the show and I had to do it 8 years later, like it's actually kind of like hell, you know?
How much do you, I'm interested in this, how much do you think being Jewish, as I am as well, influence your love of food? Because, I mean, I guess all cultures are based around it, but we're a pretty food-loving bunch.
Yeah, well, it's so funny because like we do like, my brother, who's my partner, was working at like a private Jewish school.
Yeah.
And like he was like a teacher there, and like they thought it was like so outlandish that he was part of a company that sells a bacon strips and bacon strip shirt. And I remember on the fourth episode of Epic Mealtime, I'm like, oh, this will be funny. I'm gonna give my buddy, he's gonna wear a tallis and a kippah, and I'm gonna give him the pig head on a plate. And my mom and dad lost their mind. They're like, the Jewish community will banish you. When they, I swear they said that. But
the Jewish message board.
The next week, strangely enough, it was like on the like combined Jewish appeal, like newspaper, like front page. It was like, you know, Jew boys profit off bacon. You know?
It
was, yeah.
I love it. War profiteers.
Yeah. So like, it's so funny. Like, I don't know. Every Jew I know like loves dairy. Yeah. And like just gets like destroyed in the bathroom too for it. But like, it's like
yeah, we
Jews,
pay
like,
for it.
you know, we punish ourselves for the things we love.
Do you think, did your mom, were you chubby as a kid?
No, I was very lanky as a kid.
Really?
Really lanky, and I got made fun of a lot for it in high school for just being like really super bony and just being really long. And then when I hit like 23, no one told me that all the things I used to just pig out on will hurt me later. Like I didn't know that you could wake up and eat a box of cereal and suffer for a month later.
Right.
You know? So I used to wake up and eat a box of cereal. I was like 6'2" and like 180 pounds, like really skinny, just eating whatever I wanted. And then
the dream.
Yeah, and then once Epic Mealtime happened when I was like 25, it took like about a year to put on like 30 pounds, and then another year for 30 pounds. And I'm like, I'm 60 pounds bigger than what before.
Right.
And I was bony then. I'm just like, my arms are still bony, but now I'm just like fat and weird. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I just look like I could get pushed over really easily.
Right.
Yeah, and that happened fast. It's funny because it wasn't Epic Mealtime. It was eating on the road, stress eating, like eating late at night while I'm editing, snacks, quick food, quick answers to eating. And that's like what really did me in. Alcohol, drinking,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, alcohol will kill you.
Yeah. And then,
Do you think you have, because I know I have a weird relationship with food and probably other things, but like that I had to sort of take a very, you know, straightforward, pragmatic approach of being like, no, this is somewhat of an addiction for me and it's triggered by X, Y, Z. Did you have that, or it just was like you just weren't a mindful eater and it just kind of, because some people are just like put on a couple pounds here and there, then they lose it. They don't really have a struggle with food. You don't seem like you struggle with it.
my moment was I had, like being tall helps hide it a lot.
Yeah, that's
being
beautiful.
good at layering helps. Being in Canada means like 7 months of the year you're wearing a winter jacket.
Oh,
you know
beautiful.
What I mean? Yeah, like
Yeah.
you get like some good coverage there. But I think
Another vote for Canada, man.
Yeah,
If you want to
yeah.
be heavy set, move to the Great North.
Yeah, and I think it was just like my biggest waking moment was I got off a plane and my back hurt, and like under one of my legs hurt.
Right.
And it stayed like that, and I went to the doctor, and he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Yeah, like, you know, like, see, like your fat here is like pressing on this nerve." And I was like, "Well, this has I hurt my leg 'cause I'm fat." Like, I'm like,
Right.
"That's ugly." I'm like, I didn't know that. I was like, God forbid I like get some roll or something, you know, and I have to run or jump. It's like I can't, you know. It's like I'm not in a good space, and my only goal when I started working, I was like, I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna get fit. I just
Right.
had one goal. If like I should be able to do 20 pull-ups.
Straight.
Yeah, straight wide grip pull-ups. If I should do 20, like that's
That's
like,
no easy feat, by the way.
No, it's not.
That's
I mean,
real deal Holyfield.
And that's one of those things where it's like people say like, you know, we have these milestones for like a normal average man can do 50 push-ups and 20 pull-ups and 150 jumping jacks, you know, or something like that. And it's like, damn, like I know a lot of people can't do that.
Right.
But I still feel like if I just get the pull-ups, I should be all right. And I aimed for pull-ups. I felt like my back was weak. I felt like my posture was bad. I felt like every problem connected from my back, you know? And I never set out to do anything else other than that. And, you know, when you get there, you get excited. It starts to work in a way, and you like, you know, you start to be the person like, oh, I love working out. I love the gym.
Right.
You know, I get a better sleep later on because of it. Oh, that was the biggest thing actually for me losing weight, is I love staying up late.
Right.
I hate going to bed. I'm the worst. Like, I'll stay up like playing video games till like 4 a.m. and then even if I have something at 8 a.m., I'm just like, whatever. You know, sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
figure it out.
Exactly. And like, you know, squeeze naps in here or there. But like, a full night's sleep is the best for your body. It's
It's
like,
a
it's
gift.
up there with like water and diet, literally.
I love sleeping. I'm a sleeper. I think I got 9 hours last night, and I woke up bummed. I was like, I don't feel right. This isn't right.
Do you go to bed early, or you're like, oh, it's 11, tapping out, putting the phone on silent?
I do put it on silent, so anyone who needs me, if there's an emergency late at night, don't rely on good old JP, because I'm not coming to save you. 'Cause I'm tired. Between midnight and 1, I'll knock out, and you know, I don't have a traditional schedule, so I can easily sleep to like 8:30 or 9, and it's not lost on me. And I just don't know if I'll ever be that guy. Maybe kids and stuff help you wake up earlier, I assume, but I'm sure I'll resent them for that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I wonder, like, it's like, for me, it was like a weird, I don't want to say like a FOMO thing, but I'm always around people, and
Right.
and I'll always get calls and phone, and then like at around like 12 a.m., you know, I'm in East Coast, it's 9 p.m., and now like I know no calls are coming from the West Coast, and everyone else is sleeping, and I'm like, oh, now I could sit down, chill on the couch, and like play this video game or watch this show. Like, I could do this now. Now is my leisure time.
Right.
When really I should be ahead of the game, plan leisure time better. I don't. I would just stay up late, you know, and like squeeze my leisure time into the middle of the night, and still I'd have to be up early because everyone's coming to work the next day, you know? So it was like,
right. So now
that's what did me in.
Now you're 32, I'm 31, and like I found, and I'm like, I totally have that adult thing where I just, like you said, like, I'm like, dairy? Yeah, I know that's delicious, but like, am I willing to pay for it? No, thank you, sir. And like, all of a sudden now these like healthy routines have sort of taken over, which is this great thing, but I find myself like, what did I not do the other day? I don't know. It was something like, I think my friends went to one of those bullshit trampoline places or whatever.
Things scare me, man.
Dude, and I was like, if I pop an ACL on this, I'm going to be so fucking bummed.
You have never tore your ACL?
I haven't. I did my...
So you're Jewish and you're over 27, so you cannot play basketball anymore.
No basketball.
Cannot play basketball.
Right.
Every Jew I know...
Yeah.
Every Jew I know is like 25, 26, and they think they're like still at like Jew camp or something. They still could do the crossover, and they literally... I have like 9 Jewish friends that tore their ACL after 25 years old. Like,
totally.
You do not... That's like the Jewish man's weakness. Like,
yeah.
You can't. You got to be careful. And a trampoline place, do you go to those?
Hell no. I was like,
okay.
guys, I'm tapped out here. I want nothing to do with this. Because I'm like, I can't do it. Like, if there was something, like, if Hemsworth called me, he was like, mate, I need you to be in Thor 4, mate. Like, you know, but you got to do this crazy running scene. I'd be like, I will tear my ACL for you, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I'm not for a dumb fucking trampoline place.
It's true. If like, you know, like that's how it is. It's like, I would never go skydiving.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
But if they're like, we're doing the Point Break reboot,
come on.
you got to jump out
Swayze?
of the car. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, you know.
I did this for the listeners. I'm revealing my pectoral at the moment.
Oh shit! Yeah, he's got a tear there. And
I ripped my pec.
And how did you do
Josh
that?
Peck, bench pressing, CrossFit.
Oh shit! Wait.
Bad.
Yeah, guys, you can't see it, but it actually looks like a gnarly barbed wire scar.
Yeah.
It looks like barbed wire. It's pretty awesome. So wait, you're pushing up and it just...
I was doing, 5.
How bruised was that for a while?
From here to here, it was full of blood. And then I remember, it's one of those things you don't have to get fixed, but my wife's family is like, you know, a lot of them played in the NFL and a lot of family friends. And so thank God I was around them during this time. And they were like, oh, you need to fix that immediately. Like, at the time I was 27. They're like, you can't go through life with no pectoral muscle.
Yeah.
Thank God I did. But I just remember, like, I was doing the reps, and the third one went up, and then I went to push the fourth, and I just heard a towel rip inside of me.
Oh.
And I just was like, oh, this is bad. And from then on, no more CrossFit. Done. Sorry, CrossFit.
That's so funny. When I was like, even like at my strongest, my buddies would be like, yo, can you help me move? I'd
Right.
be like, no.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, why? And I'd be like, well, I did do this. This was an advanced maneuver. I bought a pickup truck.
Okay.
Somebody's like, could you help me move? I'd be like, yep. And I'd toss them my keys.
Solid.
And I'd be like,
Great.
just toss me the gas back. And they're like, oh, but you want to come like help me? I'm like, you think I'm going to come and pick up a couch at your house? I'm going to hurt myself.
Sounds
and they're like, man,
dangerous.
look at you. You're a big guy. You lift weights. I'm like, yes, but it's all for show.
It's contained.
Like they're not functional.
Purely vanity.
I could bend down, pick up your couch, and then put it back down in the exact same spot, like maybe 8 times.
Right.
But I can't move it. I can't walk around with that. I'm like, I'll hurt myself. I'm like, plus, I'm like 30-year-old Jewish man. I will get hurt.
It's kryptonite.
Yeah, and
it's bad.
Yeah, and it's like it's even funny. Like my parents, like if they were like, oh, like help around the house, like like clean the leaves out of the gutter. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna hire a guy to go clean the gutter at their house.
Ladders. What? I'm so glad that I don't have that part of the male ego that's so prevalent in guys I know, especially in their 30s and 40s. Because I was fat as a kid, so I had no athletic prowess, and I wasn't deluded at all to believe that I could ever have a career as like the first Jewish point guard. I just knew it. And so, but now I'll see my friends play in like these bullshit Sunday beer leagues at like where they'll all wear a uniform and they think they're being official. And I'm like, you guys are nerds. And they will go so hard and get so fucked up playing.
I wish I could play the games, but a lot of my friends growing up are very competitive. And that's like the one thing why I don't.
Right.
It's like I don't want to like get into a league and like, no disrespect for all the people that play the leagues out there. It's just my friends. They're so competitive that like, I'm going to go out there and like, they'll get mad at me for like dropping a ball and then like not talk to me for a week. I did like flag football a couple of years ago and it was like fun, but then there was like a couple of weird like bickerings that happened.
Right.
And I was like, there was supposed to be no negativity at all in this entire experience. I'm out here risking my ACLs for this.
Yeah,
to
forget
get
about
like
it.
shit on for dropping a pass. I'm like, bro, I was never had receiver fingers,
Right.
Why would I have it now? I'm older. Like I'm not, doesn't mean I'm better at it or anything,
I played in a celebrity basketball tournament that happened every year, and it was basically a league for celebrities, and like there were real celebrities in it, and it was sponsored by the NBA, so you got like the full gear, and we had real referees. We played at this beautiful high school gym, and like Adam Sandler would play, and Justin Timberlake, and real celebrities, and then you'd have everyone else to fill out the team, like guys like me, and so I would literally be getting screamed at because I didn't set up a screen right, and I'm like, bro, you were on the 3rd season of Survivor.
Yeah.
Like you have no place to scream at me right now. Like, why are we taking this so seriously?
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? You're like, I could only imagine like how that scenario where you're just like, well, I know that guy from that show. I can't believe he's yelling at me right now over this game of basketball.
Yeah.
That doesn't. There's
Means
not even a
nothing.
trophy at the end.
Means not like we've all won.
Yeah.
We're like all killing it.
Yeah.
So you're saying, and early on, you're 5, 6, you watch Terminator, you want to be an entertainer, but you become a teacher. So what's the teenage years like? What drove you in a place where you're like, I guess maybe I'll just get a regular gig and sort of head in that direction?
Well, it was in Canada, we're in Montreal where I'm from. It's kindergarten to the 6th grade is
Right.
elementary school, and then 7th grade to 11th grade is high school.
Right.
And then after that, you go to this thing called CEGEP for 2 years.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's like university training. It's like grade 12, 13 almost, but like in university style. Make
like
your
a
own
prep.
schedule. Yeah, exactly. And then you go to university. And so I was like in like 11th grade, beginning of 11th grade, and it's like, haha, I'm just living life, playing Xbox, masturbating into my own belly button or whatever.
Solid.
You know how it is. And then
We all do it.
Derek, you know what I'm talking about.
What's up, Derek? I know. In like a couple of years, you're going to be with your boy Derek. And I'm like, how do I know you?
Yeah.
Yeah, another belly button.
And then like I was just doing it, like living life, and everything's cool. And then it was just like I think maybe like March of 11th grade rolled around, and everyone's like, "What are you doing with your life?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know why. But did everyone decide this?" And I have like friends that are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be an electrician." And I have other friends that are like, "Well, I'm going into this trade school," and other friends that are like, "I'm gonna pursue my master's in psychology." I'm like, "Yo, like, why didn't anyone talk to me?" And I was like, kind of like, I guess.
You're like, I'm on the 3rd level of Halo 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and
what?
I was like, why is this happening? Like, I got to decide this now. And like, I was like, I guess, and I remember in high school, I'm like, I guess I'll set up a meeting with the guidance counselor.
Right.
I went with the guidance counselor, and I was like, I want to be in TV.
Okay.
I want to, whatever it is to be in TV, to learn how to film and learn how to edit, learn how to write, learn how to do sound, learn how to collect coffee for the boss. Literally anything. I want to be on set no matter what.
In the world.
I would have jumped, and at the time I would jump at the opportunity to serve coffee to an executive producer on some game show on the Game Show Network. Like that would be like exactly where I want to end up, and like somewhere here, and maybe I'll meet people and I'll write and we'll figure something out. And YouTube didn't exist, but I was waiting for it was YouTube. Right. But like I was like I just want to be in I want to be in the NBA. But that's not happening. I still got to make the right decision. And I was like, well, damn, like, you think my chances of doing this are as good as your 45-year-old ass making it in the NBA? Did you just make that
5'7", you dick.
I'm like, that's huge. Like, I'm like, there's a lot of moments like that.
Oh,
and then my
dream crushers.
Yeah, my mom's like, well, you work at summer camp every summer. If you go to teach, you'll teach. And you get to work with kids. You like working with kids, and then you get the summer off, and so you could work at the summer camp still, and then you could do some tutoring on the side, and basically, if you get your bachelor's and you go become a teacher in Montreal, Quebec, it's like $35,000 Canadian for a salary, and like you end up with like $31,000, which will always be a number that will be the most grounding number for me, because I'll always be like, to me, that is a year's worth of work.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Real work.
Monday to Friday, and then you have your hours after the fact, and you have like once a month meetings on a weekend. But so for me, that was always like my grounding thing.
Right.
Throughout the entire process of Epic Mealtime. And I was always like, I'm going to go into teaching because, it'll be good. And I my first time substituting was for kids in grade 7. And my real year teaching as a teacher the year before Epic Mealtime was I taught grade 11. So those kids that were in the 7th grade, I watched them graduate my year as a teacher.
Wow.
And there was, and like, it's so cliche, and I'm not the guy at all. Like, when I went to university to be a teacher, the teacher would be like, I'm one guy with 300 girls because it's elementary education. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, I know. Derek knows. And the teacher would be like, what are you guys here for? And someone would be like, I have this binder. It's my grandmother's binder when she was a teacher, and my mom's a teacher, and I want to be a teacher. And then I'm like, I think I'd be good at it. And I like my summers off. And they're like, it's like
right. Can't be a pro Xbox player.
Not then you couldn't, and it was discouraging for everyone around me to love it so much,
they were passionate.
And me to be like, like no one here is just like doing it because they think they might do a good job at it, but aren't really obsessed with it. Like everyone here is obsessed.
Ain't nobody settling yet. Jesus.
So like that's why I did it. Yeah.
Quick question: who are bigger dickheads, 7th graders or 11th graders?
Okay. I would probably say like 8th grade boys
Awful.
Are so like, it's like 7th grade, they're quiet and they don't want to do anything silly. They like know their role. 8th grade, it's like they now have like leverage over one group.
Right. They're testing
and they just,
the limit.
Every kid becomes like such a nuisance. I used to always... There would be kids would do stuff, and I was the class clown. I did weird shit. I would pretend to have a seizure on the teacher's desk. I did all these goofy things, and like, kids would make jokes in my class, and I'd be like, Daniel, that's not funny. I was like, well, my friends are laughing. I'm like, no, I've been there before.
Let me inform
your friends
you.
are laughing because your friends are your boys. I'm like, FYI, they're probably not going to be your friends in 10 years from now. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, but take a look around. Do you see any girl here laughing? Not one of them. I'm like, how many girls are looking down right now? I'm like, it's cringy. It's embarrassing. Like,
That's
so
brilliant.
And I'm like, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because I've been you. And I think back of the jokes that I made, and I knew deep in my heart they weren't funny. Just like you know deep in your heart right now it's not funny. And I'm like, look at me. You don't think I know funny? You don't think I know what a funny thing is? I do. I'm like, so in my opinion... you got to time your funny. You got to know when. There's a difference between being funny and being a little asshole. And that's the major difference there.
That's the best advice you could ever give a kid
I think it stuck with him.
That's
It
incredible.
was like the only time I really felt like he listened. And for me, it was almost like I was talking to myself when I was younger, because I remember where like the teacher would be like, here's turn to page whatever. And I'd be like, schmoing. Am I right, boys? And they're like, yeah, high fives all around. Derek,
way to go,
and Matt
Harley.
and whatever. They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, my boys. But deep down, I was just like, what kind of farce is this? It wasn't that funny.
Yeah,
But
you're
my
breaking
boys-
down
Yeah,
inside.
my boys backed me up, and then like I knew the girls, they're more mature. They weren't down with it,
Right.
But I did notice to switch to females, like when a high school girl gives you attitude, there's literally like I've never once seen it handled in a way that doesn't escalate unless you just abandon and give it some time and come back to it later.
Really?
Like I've had encounters, like sometimes like a girl who's like a good girl and doesn't cause a ruckus or whatever, does something or says something, and you're like, oh, that's not the time, and she's like, whatever, and then it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because
Well.
now, like, I'm like, I know she's a good girl, and I know if I'm like, excuse me, she's like, I don't even like this class, and it's gonna go to another place.
Yeah.
And then it's like black and white on paper, like I have to reprimand it, but I know that
She
it
didn't
was like
mean
in
it.
a strange moment of vulnerability or whatnot. So I'm like, I'll just get to this later.
Right.
But like, I've always like high school girl students, like when it was like attitude turned on, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is
DEFCON
like,
5.
Yeah, this is like
Stay away.
a delicate process right now. I'm like, I'll come back to this at another time. You know what I mean?
Right, because you know that it's gonna escalate, it's gonna peak, and it's gonna be the meanest, craziest thing you've ever seen,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna go to tears.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
it's like,
Exactly. It'll just be like that. So I would just my first day. I remember I went to elementary education, so I know how to talk to elementary kids.
Right.
And my first day in high school, I walk into the class and I sit down at the desk and I'm substituting. I mean I'm like 24 years old. The kids in grade 11 are like 18. So it's like weird to be 24 around 18-year-olds, and in Montreal, like 18 years old is the drinking age, and you can go out at. So like,
Yeah,
by all
everyone's-
intents and purposes, we could be waiting in line at the same club right now,
Right.
And they're my students. And I'm sitting down at the desk, and I'm just chilling, and this kid walks in, and he sees me, and he says really loud, like pointing at me. He goes, "Who's this F-A-G about me?"
great.
And so I'm like,
What
I
do you do?
instantly bend over and I open my desk and pretend like I'm looking for something in the desk, even though it's not my desk. I'm a substitute because I don't know how to handle like a level 10 issue now. I
Right.
don't know how to handle something where this kid should be suspended for the word and directing it at a teacher and in front of the class.
Totally.
So I was just like, I like bend down and pretended to look in the desk like I didn't hear it. I'm like banging the desk loud, like
Oh
a
my-
full second after he said it. Like, as if
Where
I
are
don't-
those rulers? God damn it! I gotta
That's literally it. It was
Where do
so,
they keep the fucking abacuses around here? God,
it was so pitiful.
graphing calculators.
And then like this was the biggest mistake though, was like 20 minutes later the kids were making a lot of noise. I'm standing, I'm like, guys quiet. And I don't know if your teacher did this in elementary school, but you guys call it grade school?
Elementary school,
Okay,
no,
elementary
yeah.
school was like turn off the lights and cross your arms. Like teacher would do that and be like, when you're ready,
Yeah.
this is your recess time. So it's elementary tactic because it's different from high school, And I stand up and I go over to the lights because the kids aren't listening. And I'm like, well, I'm going to give them the old lights off.
Yeah, what's up?
I hit the lights and I didn't realize it because I didn't think about it, but it was like a high school. And like they don't have this in elementary school, but they had it in high school. There was no windows in the room.
So it's pitch black.
So I hit the light and it went pitch black and like screams instantly happen. I turn the lights on and like half the desks are upside down and tossed and there's papers everywhere, like in the air, slowly falling down. I was like, what the hell happened? It was like so fast. It was like as soon as the lights went off, they were like, ugh, and like threw shit in the
They
air.
thought
and
it was
flipped
a
desks. It
goddamn
was, like,
rave.
literally like I turned the light off, turned it on, and the class was literally upside down. And I was like, oh man,
Lost.
everything I've learned
Yeah,
for
you're
the
not
last
prepared
like
for this.
4 years, they really should have just stuck me in a class.
Right.
And like, and even when you do your stage where you go and you do like, you're like a little intern, like a mini teacher shadow,
Right.
like they should have just given, like me go hands on, let the kids go at me for a bit so that when it's real deal and there's no teacher there to back me, I had the tactics.
Yeah, it's like gang initiation. You got to get the shit kicked out of
Yeah.
you to be prepared.
Yeah,
for what it
that's
means to be a
exactly what it
member.
was. I got the shit kicked out of me that day. I remember that.
Did you have any of those corny moments we see in movies where you like affected a kid and you were like, this is why I do what I do?
It was, actually, when I saw the kids graduate,
Right.
in grade 11 after I saw it, and it was cliches, like I was at their grad, and I saw, like, even the kid that I told that he's not funny and stuff like that, who
Right.
is a funny kid, things like that. I watched
But you
them
know who
graduate.
you are, kid. Brian.
Yeah.
No. Rick.
Daniel. I'm not a teacher anymore. and he's an adult. So,
Yeah.
And,
These are the hard realities. You sucked from age 14 to 17.
It's okay, I did too. And they graduate and they're like at the dance and they get their diplomas and they're all there. It's like the prom basically.
Right.
And I'm just like, whoa. I'm like, it's so true. And I'm like, I don't want to get all sentimental, but I do have this intense feeling of accomplishment.
Right.
High school was a life for me.
Right.
It was a lifetime. And to have watched these kids do it from the span of 23 to 27, it was that, or 22 to 26, it was this moment of being like, whoa, I can't believe I'm here and I've been there for this whole life of theirs. And I remember I remember his first day of school for his last day of school, it was special in itself,
Right.
And that was probably that biggest moment where you're like, is there any cliche deep like, this is why we do it?
This is why we do
I
it.
was kind of like, that's why I did it. Let's go throw some burgers on pizza.
Well, it seems like, because you've been doing YouTube for
8 years.
8 years, and you're still a young guy, so it seems like that sort of came quite quickly. But did you ever have that moment where you sort of reconciled the idea of like, man, like, this is my life, it's going to be my life teaching, and it's not a bad life, but fuck, I wish it was something else.
I would sit down on my break in class, and nothing was more amusing to this day than teaching. To sit there and watch kids talk to each other and hear what they have to say and hear their perspectives. Nothing wanted to make me write movies or come up with ideas for entertainment more than watching them interact.
Right.
So when they would do that, I would go and I would, at this time I would film on weekends. I would film like rappers' music videos on weekends and stuff like that. And film, I always wanted to, it was just working in the space of film was always interesting to me. And there were times where it was like a nice day and I have like 45 minutes off in the middle of the day because it's like my break, and I would like start writing an idea and like the sun's coming in my room and it's kind of warm and it's quiet and I'm like, this is chill.
Right.
I'm like, it's totally chill. I could see doing this.
Good life.
I could imagine doing this. And then when I got that first year of teaching and they're like, we could bring you in for another year, which is a big deal because just to get a government job, like guaranteed, like it goes a long way, especially to do it at like 24. It's like by the time I'm 30, I could save up for a house and like, I'll be on track for a house at 30 years old, like as a teacher. And
real
I'll have
grown
like
up.
leisure time and it'd be like, but I made this decision. I was like, I'm going to take this summer now and I'm going to try and put myself in front of the camera, which I never did before. All the stuff was someone else because I didn't want to ruin my teaching degree. I didn't want to go up there and be like, it's bacon, bitch, suck on this dick. And then they're like, you can't teach anymore.
Yeah.
So
you might not be qualified.
So I was just like, I'm going to take that shot.
Right.
I'll take that shot. I'll put myself out there and let's see what happens. Let's see how it goes. And if by the end of the summer something happens, I'll pursue that. If it doesn't, I won't go back to teaching full time. I'll take substitution jobs, but I'll see what I could do.
Right.
And at this point I was 25 and I said, I will live in my mom's basement, taking the shot of making it or doing this high-risk career until I'm 30. I have 5 years. And then when I'm 30, I'll cut my losses and I'll be dedicated to this job. I will be a teacher at 30 and I'll stick to that and I'll commit to that. And I made that 5-year plan at 25. And I got lucky. It happened sooner rather than later in that plan.
How quick?
The summer.
Months?
The summer right out. I filmed that summer. When I got finished teaching, I filmed the Epic Mealtime, and I kept it on my computer for like 3 months as I kept editing it, and I released it in October. But it was filmed like in July.
And the first video?
The first one got 100,000 views, and I was thinking if I get 30,000 views,
right,
I'll upload again. It got 120,000 views, so I uploaded again, and that one got 600,000 views. And the next one got like 600,000 views, and then the fourth episode got 2 million views. And then I was like, I called and took my name off the list for teaching or whatever, everything. And I was like, this is what I do. I'm going to do this. I have to do this no matter what. I got 2 million views on something. I have to commit to this. And since that first upload in 2010 October, I never ever missed a week.
Wow.
It's funny. Keemstar, he does the drama alert on YouTube. He just posted up a thing being like, YouTube is fixing their sub box. He's like, imagine these popular YouTubers for 2012 were able to reach all their audience. And it was a picture of Ray William Johnson, Fred Figglehorn, Buck Hollywood, and myself. All people that I met, they're great guys. And I looked at it and I was like, damn. But I'm still out here.
Right.
Those guys aren't even on their channels anymore. They don't upload. I'm the one thing that I have, and I actually like it, but it's just funny to be thrown in the same box is I've never missed a week. and I keep doing it. And I remember like there's this weird, like I don't know if it's pride or ego or it's a challenge or it's like a weird form of displaying my insecurity. Is like since 2013, people have been like, I think it's done now, time to move on.
Right.
And I don't.
Right.
I've kept it going. And like, so it's 8 years and it's like, you know, WCW Nitro was on the air less than Epic Meal Time. You know, like I've done Epic Meal Time longer than I went to elementary school or longer than I went to high school. It's like, it's become such a big thing. Like I've seen some like 20-year-olds or 18-year-olds and they're like, yo, you were my childhood.
Right.
And I'm like, oh yeah, 8 years, you know? Well, I mean, you get that. Like you were like legit people's childhoods. Like I was like, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess like if I'm there in grade 7 as on Epic Meal Time or your first day of high school and I'm there like, you know, in the middle of university for you, like I was there for a long time in your life.
Yeah, I mean, my fans have literally at this point, like they'll say, you were my childhood. And I'll be like, you're 28. I'm only 4 years older than you, but it's a trip too. And do you think that there was, obviously the content was what won, right? Because you were producing something that no one else was and it was incredibly engaging. Do you think that you got lucky early on that you just intrinsically knew certain things that would help elevate it? Like you understood clickbait or you understood how to get it out to more people at a certain time?
I made multiple decisions early on that helped in a big way. And for those listening, I can give you my new updated versions for the 2018.
I'm sure they'd love it.
But in 2010, so stick around, guys. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to keep talking.
It's going to be great. Keep it on.
In 2010, when I put it up, I looked at all the Canadian popular YouTube channels. And there was a YouTuber that uploaded Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And there was a girl that uploaded on Thursdays.
Right.
And Saturday and Sunday just weren't like big traffic days back then. So I was like, oh, Tuesday is a day that no one uploads. Probably because Tuesday's pretty shit.
Right.
I was like, yo, let's make Tuesday our thing. And like Tuesday was decided before the name Epic Meal Time was decided. I knew Tuesday was the day.
Right.
So it was going to be every Tuesday, a new Epic Meal Time. That's how we'll do it. We'll never miss a week, and that'll be the thing. And I did that because there wasn't anyone on it. And then when we uploaded the first video, but you know, back in the day, people, and still to this day, people are like, yo guys, mad love, I want you to go and share my SoundCloud on your Facebook. Can you do me this one solid or whatever? And you're like, man, you ask me this every month. You know, like there's a little bit of invisible social capital you can't count. How many times can you go and call up a friend and be like, bro, hook me up one time? You know what I mean? Like you don't like it. You can't do it every week.
Yeah,
you know?
you have to be aware.
And not even just like in a professional colleague relationship, even like your best buds are going to be like, come on, man.
Right.
Lay off.
Yeah, it's enough already.
So I never used that social capital when a lot of people I knew were using social capital to like, you know, market their albums or whatever. I never used it, and I dedicated it to one specific thing, and it was really weird. I like kind of focused all the efforts. So as I said, I put it up on BuzzFeed, the video.
Right.
Which meant back then you could put the YouTube link onto BuzzFeed.com. And I posted it, and I told everyone on my friends list, which was like 1,000 friends, to go to this link and to click sign in with Facebook. And then BuzzFeed had it was like a heart, what the fuck, LOL. You know, they had these badges.
Right.
So I said, everyone, please click the WTF badge.
Right.
So like it went from 0 WTF to like, you know, 450 WTF clicks, which ends up putting it in a pretty high space on the website because it was like a concentrated effort to breach the WTF page. And so then on that day, if you went to WTF on like the Tuesday in October 2010, you would see Epic Meal Time in the top 5, the first episode ever, because
Super
like my
visible.
friends helped me out, the people that I knew on Facebook.
Right.
And then an editor saw it and said, your video was picked by an editor and is on the front page of BuzzFeed. And that took it from like 30,000 to 120,000 views.
And you were off.
And then after that, it was like, you know, I had friends that used Reddit, and I never knew, but they would go and they would put it up on Reddit, and they would get karma for it and stuff like that. And it happened kind of like through the internet, but there was like luck. And although there was a strategy to it, like choosing Tuesday so I'm not interrupting another YouTuber's day.
Right.
And it was weird because back then in 2010, it was like the food category.
Right.
And then there was like the entertainment category, the news category. And if you were like Epic Meal Time, you uploaded in the food category. That's cool, Tuesday in the food category. But it'd be really weird if like another popular YouTuber decided to just do a food show.
Right.
Put it in the food category and on Tuesday. It's like, yo, dog, You're stepping all up in my category now?
Yo, you trying to get
trying
to get handled right now?
I always say people bitch about all the problems with YouTube now. Guys, there's always something to bitch about every year.
Yeah, of
It was
course.
just like, yo, this guy's uploading in my category. What's up with that? Like, there was always like little things to.
I love social media beef. I don't know
It's a
people that
guilty
are
pleasure of
less
mine.
intimidating than social media people. And like I've seen like back in the Vine days on 1600 Vine, motherfuckers would get hated. So like, this guy stole my idea. I'm like, we're all working from relatable content. Like most people have opened the fridge and there was nothing inside. Like, we have to reconcile that it's possible other people will have that idea.
When you're with your side chick and your girl called.
Yeah.
Doom.
A lot of
And
cheaters
it's like,
in this world, Fred. Adultery is common. It's been documented since early times. Yeah. But it's, you know, it's so interesting. Like when was the first time in all of this where you were like, where you got that first little tinge of like, I'm famous? Like, were you like, yo?
Well, like, I mean, I went to the mall in Montreal, like in my town. I went to the mall in Montreal in my town. Like, I walk in and like, I was just wanted to go to the Apple store to exchange something. And I got stopped like 50 times to take a picture.
Yeah.
And that was like my first encounter. And I was like, what the hell? And we refer to this night as quote unquote best night ever. It was the year we realized that people really liked Epic Mealtime everywhere. And it's we didn't add it, the fact that we had millions of views, but like we went out in our hometown, like it was either that week or the next weekend. And when we got there, we were filming a video, so we had rented like a big car, and like we all got out of it. And as soon as we got out of it, all the people drunk on the street started like freaking because a couple of us were wearing shirts.
Right.
And it was like college kids, and they all started like screaming and ran at us. And then before we knew it, we're in the middle of the street and the cars are honking, but we can't go anywhere because there's like literally like 200 university students circling us and like high-fiving and taking pictures and hugging us and whatever. And like, you know, even my girlfriend at the time, I feel bad. Like I was with her and like she's there and like girls were like coming up to me and like grabbing me and she's like pushing them literally off, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was just, it happened so fast.
That's what happens, baby. In demand.
and none of us
Bacon boys.
none of us are get it. None of us are like clubbing guys.
Right.
And none of us have the wardrobe appropriate for a club.
Same
when we're
here.
there, the bouncer's like, yo, come into this club.
Right.
And we're like, the hottest club in the city? What? And like,
Suppose we will, good sir. Thank you,
go-
Mr. Bouncer.
we go in and the owner like brings us a bottle and like
Jeez.
a table. It's all like all this stuff. Like literally it was like when the night was done, we were all like, what the fuck was that? And I
Yeah.
was like, yo, people like bacon.
I don't know what we're doing, but it's working. People like to eat in excess, I suppose.
It was a trip. That was it. It was like a little trip. I think today, if someone were to go and do or want to make it happen today,
Right.
like some YouTubers had, you know, almost one would say it reached their demise, you know, or reached a place where some would have said it about me. But then they found themselves again on Vine.
Right.
Vine resurrected quite a few people. Instagram does that as well. Like it brings some people that used to pop on YouTube. Maybe they don't now, but now on Instagram, they're coming back. They're appropriate for Instagram, or maybe not like, you know, someone like Daystorm.
Right.
When I did YouTube, when I first started, like he had like complaints about YouTube that mirror a lot of people's complaints today about YouTube. So I've been hearing for generations, people complain about YouTube when it doesn't work out.
Right.
But then Vine happened and he got like a big resurgence there. You know, and like when I did Vine, I was living out here when Vine existed, and like I would go to the movies and people would be like, oh, it's that guy from Vine. And they didn't see Epic Mealtime.
Sure.
So like I got a different extension of my personal brand through Vine. And it was a lot. So in this day and age, in 2018, if you want to break into the scene, YouTube is very difficult. And it's because fundamentally YouTube is not built to share. Vine was successful and a lot of people popped on Vine because you guys were very clever at working with one another, tagging one another, re-looping each other's stuff
Right.
and things like that.
And it was so bite-sized. It was
Right.
so quick.
But there's not even like there is no retweet or re-loop on YouTube.
Right.
If I like your content, I could comment on it. And that doesn't mean that people will see it or anything. YouTube
harder to share.
decides on YouTube. But in this day and age, I would say Facebook is if you want to start a career, if you're a stand-up comedian or you think you do good sketches or whatever, 100% go on Facebook and do it. maybe go on Instagram too.
Right.
But,
Find the medium that supports what you're doing.
Those two platforms, 100%. I tell people, like, if you want to pop, I would say, like, go live on Instagram at the exact same time every day and have, like, a little 15-minute shtick that you do.
Right.
People love a schedule. They love when you're there and they can count on you to be there, or go on Facebook and do it. I have a friend, he made, like, an extremely simple video, very simple, and it got, like, 180 million views.
Jesus.
And he got 500,000 likes on his page. And it was this was the first video.
Right.
And it was just like crazy fortunate. YouTube cannot give you that type of blind luck.
Right.
But Facebook has the power. And even if we're like, Facebook only counts for 3 seconds, and even if the sound isn't on, it counts as a view. Well, let's just say then it was 18 million views, all right? Let's divide it,
Yeah, but you're still crushing it.
10% of it, yeah.
And the genius of daily content, right, is, and I feel this way for a lot of the things that I see on all platforms, is that the content isn't necessarily good, but it's junk food, right? So it's like, well, it wasn't as great today but there'll be something tomorrow. Like, everyone wants to give it a chance because it's 5 or 10 minutes of their day, and they're willing to take a risk the next day because they know it's going to be there. Whereas, like, if something feels ultra edited and curated and it doesn't land, you're like, you spent 6 months on this? And they're like, now we have to wait another 6 months for something that might be shit like this? No thanks.
Yeah. You ever put up like a bad video or a bad Vine, a bad picture or something?
Of
and people aren't
course.
feeling it, and you're like, damn. And then the next day you just clear it up by putting up something dope.
Right.
Imagine you're like Tom Cruise and you got to wait like a year for the next movie to come out and you hope that it's going to be a hit. You know what I mean? Like, you put like a bad movie out or something or people don't like it, and you're like, damn.
So much work.
I have to sit in this like
mire,
stew in this like dark cloud of people being unhappy with my last movie, and every article's like, that's the end of him.
Oh, yeah.
We're so crazy like that.
That brings me to my next question, which, here you are living in both worlds. You're here in LA for Food Network, so you do like the legit theatrical TV, film stuff. And then, of course, you do what originally got it good for you, which is YouTube. I live in both worlds as well. And if a kid came up to me now and said, I really want to be an entertainer, what lane would you tell me to be in? I don't know what I would say, because in part, there's part of me that feels like going the traditional theatrical route, which we were all raised on, is like the great achievement. I think it's sort of dying, but I'm not sure that YouTube has completely taken it over yet.
You got to be like, you got to find that middle ground and be like, bro, go take a traditional concept and pitch it to Netflix.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Get an ear or eyes at Netflix,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I say Facebook. Like, I saw this guy that I always watched on Facebook, Joe Santagato. He's a hilarious guy. He does commentary. He's literally just like a funny dude from New York, I think. And he sits down and he's like,
right.
Oh, look at these idiots on Craigslist. And it's funny. And I used to watch it on Facebook, and it would get like, 100,000 views, 200,000 views. Then it got like 800,000, like a million, 1.5 mil. And then I noticed that like he started to move people to YouTube. And I was like, that was a career that I define as like one that wouldn't have existed when I started, but a path that exists now. It was like taking Facebook and then moving to YouTube. And Facebook is like so incredibly powerful. Like, it's
right.
like really, it is still like at the top. So if someone's like, I want to make it or I want to do it, like I would be like Instagram or Facebook.
Right.
And I say that, and that's like relevant now. I don't know when you guys are listening to this, but
sooner than later.
Now we're in 2018 spring. That's ish.
Might be summer, but it'll be soon.
No, yeah, but that's but then it might be if in summer, or if this thing is dated at all, then like I don't know, maybe it's not relevant anymore. That's how crazy it is. Things change.
Yeah, it could change.
Facebook had stuff like they had their videos monetized.
Right.
And it was like, it's got to be 90 seconds for it to have ads on. I called up this kid in UK. I gave him like money for every video. I was like, take these old epic meals. I'm like, cut out our faces, cut out this, put some cool music, put black bars on the top and bottom. Be like, yo, who made this? Put like laughing emojis.
Right.
And let's make it 90 seconds. We'll put it up on Facebook. Makes like 15 of them. And then I get like an update like 2 weeks later being like, now it is 3 minutes for a video to be monetized. And I'm like, oh, fuck me.
Killer.
Fuck me in my stupid Jewish ass.
Killer.
And I call a kid up. I'm like, we have to do them all again.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to keep those, but maybe I'll just chop 30 seconds, throw them on Instagram. I'm like, but yeah, they got to be 3 minutes now.
Yeah, you got to make
and
it
that's
work.
just, you don't control that stuff. Those types of things, they happen. You know what I mean? It's like...
I think it's also a willingness to like for me, right, I came from Drake and Josh, and then I was able to do some cool movies. And now, like, I'll have kids come up to me and be like, you're from David's Vlogs. And I'll say, sure. Like, okay. It's like inevitably, you sort of say, I'm willing to sort of adjust with the times, and some of us attain such heights that we become known for this one thing, and that's our calling card. But inevitably, it's like, are you willing to be malleable and work in the mediums that are hot at the time and stay relevant that way, instead of saying like, well, I was huge here and this is the respect I should get.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm in David's vlogs, I'm in David's fucking vlogs.
You know what?
Thank you.
I respect that, and if the person cannot understand that and respect that, then they'll never get past. Like, if you think these comments only come like in like a place where it's like, whoa, Nickelodeon, David's vlog. If you think the comments only come
like,
there,
what
you're
happened?
wrong. Because
Right.
when you're on Nickelodeon, you'll still get those comments in a form or another. And if you can't deal with that belief of like being like, oh, well, once I go here, I can't go to a place where people are debating whether it's, as prestigious as being on Nickelodeon or something. It's like you'll never make it even when you're at the top of the game.
Yeah.
Because at the top of the game, the hits come way harder. They're way more ruthless. Like, let me tell you something. Someone, and I lied, I brought him up one more time. Logan Paul gets it way worse now at the top than ever. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Myself, like, people will be like, oh man, like sometimes they'll recognize a video game High School,
Sure,
or like a Vine, like, but usually like Epic Meal Time. And the biggest thing is like, oh man, yeah, how come you don't do it anymore?
Oh, I
I'm
get
like,
that.
Yeah, and in my head it's like, well, I've never missed a Tuesday. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's like, there's like I understand and accept that what I did was a worldwide novelty at the point.
Right.
To the point that like Food Network made like shows where they're like epic foods, and they have some dude that kind of looks like me, and
Right.
McDonald's refers to their Big Mac as an epic meal on billboards. Like, I know that there was a point where I felt like the spearhead of changing the food industry.
Yeah, you're
for like
influencing the
for
lexicon.
like a 7-month period, and now I know that it's like people will go every day on like my channel, and they're like, oh, this dead channel, what are you gonna do? Whatever, what are you gonna do? But it's strange because in some elements there are a lot of elements that are more profitable now even than they were then.
Right.
And there was things that like I didn't pay attention to when it was so popular. You
Right.
get like this weird like, oh my God, like everyone like, it's like you want to close things off. It was very strange. It was like I felt like I missed 2 years of my life.
I'll tell you about an experience I had the other day, and I had to realize that I was projecting my own shit on this guy and self-correct myself, because inevitably, look, like people are great in so many ways, and a lot of people suck, and you get the full gamut of it when you have people who watch you, and some people come at you with like the most love and so much respect, and it's such a joy, and some people will come at you sideways just because they don't know any better. And I was at the gym, sitting in the steam room by myself in the schwitz, just relaxing, having a moment. And I see this guy walk in and he clocks me, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And he sits near me, and I could tell that he wanted to start a conversation. I'm just like, and I'm just minding my own business. And he looks at me and goes, what's up, bro? Don't act anymore, huh? Stopped acting, huh?
That's like, yeah.
And I was like, and I just look at him and I go, what? And he's like, don't act anymore, huh? And I just was like, no, I still act. And then he immediately sort of shrunk and didn't say anything else. And I could tell that he felt bad. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, Josh, in my head, I'm like, clean it up, Josh, clean it up. Because the reality is, if I was in Ready Player fucking One or something like that was very relevant and dope, I would have laughed it off and looked at him and said, actually, I'm in the new Spielberg movie. And it would have been nothing.
But the truth is, like, yeah, if you were in Ready Player One, maybe he still would have said the exact same thing. Like, even if you're in something like extremely super relevant, doesn't mean he's seen it.
Right.
The biggest mistake I've made is assuming that like someone else on YouTube will be like, oh, like, what do you do? And this was like back in the day, like, like 2014. So I'm like, what do you do? I'm like, come on, is this a joke?
Right.
And I was like, I think back, I'm like, why would my stupid ass say that?
Right.
Like, did I think everyone watched every channel on YouTube, or like was like, what's the top 50 YouTube channels? I'll go watch all of them. Like, did I think that? What was I thinking? And I have said that before. And I look back at that, I'm like, oh, that was really foolish of me to think that someone would know, even if they were in the space. And it's because, you know what, to be fair, I have come across phonies.
Totally.
I'd be like, oh, they'd be like, what do you do? I'd be like, oh, it's just a cooking show. And then I'd be like, oh, what kind of shows? I'd be like, it's called Epic Meal Time. They'd be like, never heard about it. And then like, the waiter will come by and like, I get drinks, and they'll be like, this guy wants Jack Daniels. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Why would you say that? I thought you don't know what the show is.
Totally.
So like, I've been around phonies, and then you get this weird diamond skin like protector, and then when someone makes a comment, you're like, like, you trying to start shit right now, bro? But like, you
Totally.
forget that, like, you know, it's a million different people lives or whatever, or in this case, you know what I mean? Like, I've been exactly with what you just said.
And I apologized to the guy, and I was like, hey, man, listen, I didn't mean to be, you know.
You did that right
I
there?
did.
Oh, that's big.
I just was like, you know, and I didn't like indulge it too much. I just said, I was sort of taken aback by your question. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to come at you like that. And he immediately was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to come off rude, because I'm sure that was his in. And for many people, because, you know, you have to assume that for most, it's like a very specific entertainment device, and it's major TV shows in their house is their main sort of system for watching anything. And then maybe they go to the movies, and then maybe they see independent movies, and then maybe they see your social media stuff. But to him, he just knew me from Drake and Josh and thought like, well, you haven't done that for 10 years.
Yeah,
and it's not his fault.
People say to me, they're like, oh, you don't do Epic Mealtime anymore. And I'm like, no, I do. And they're like, what? And I get it. I'm like, I mean, I've watched wrestling, WWE. I'd like watch it my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, and then I stopped for like 12 years, and then you go back and you're like, wow, they're still doing it.
Yeah, there's Triple H.
People do that with me.
Yeah.
You know? They're like, whoa, you're still here.
Right.
You know, and like for them, it's like they don't think about how much time passed or anything, and you've been there every week, or, you know, you've still been present or putting yourself out there, but they're just not catching it because it just doesn't, you know, there's so many things to do with your time.
Right.
And like, it's all of our lives, and you forget perspective sometimes of like, oh, maybe this person doesn't watch YouTube. You know, like maybe they don't watch YouTube anymore. Like, it's totally understandable, but it's funny because like back in the day, I used to be like, this guy's on YouTube and doesn't know me.
Right.
You know, and it was like just such a douchey mind frame to begin with.
Totally.
You know?
Like, and the only thing that kills me is when kids would come up to me and they'd want like a picture, and it would so be my pleasure. And then the parent would always have to give the caveat of, I have no idea who you are, but my son over here is going crazy. Like, will you let me, like, and I'd be like, sir, I recently said this to a dad, and I think he appreciated it. I couldn't fucking help myself, and feel free to judge me, listeners. I'm probably a schmuck. But I just looked at the guy, and I was like, can I give you some advice? He's like, okay. And I was like, you don't have to let me know that you have no idea, like that I'm not shit to you.
Yeah.
You know, just let your daughter be stoked. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, great, let's take the picture.
You ever see someone might come up to you in this lab and be like, someone will take a picture like, oh my God, no way, I love your shit. And you'll be like, yeah, it smells so good, let's take a picture. And you take the picture, and then someone else comes up because they see it, and now you're like a Pokemon to collect. They just don't know which Pokemon it is or power level.
Yeah.
And they'll come by and they'll be like,
Charizard.
oh my God, can I get a picture? And you're like, yeah, of course. And they're like, yeah, what do you do?
Right.
And then you're there and you're like, why are we taking this picture? But that's just something we wouldn't do. But this is like, for them, like, it's cool. And the asshole thing that I do is I'll say like, oh, I'm a hockey player.
Amazing.
I'm a professional hockey player. So make sure you just say the New Jersey Devils, number 72, when you post
Right.
this up.
You go for a team from the States, huh?
Yeah,
You don't-
random. It could
not
be wherever.
the Canadians,
Well, because
huh?
if I'm in Canada,
Oh, right,
I
they'll
can't
know.
reference a Canadian just
Smart.
in case.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, they're like, that's my dad. You know?
Yeah,
so
I'm
like,
on the Nashville Predators.
That's probably the dick thing that I do there. And like I've met dudes who will come up to me that are big bearded dudes, and they'll like walk right up to my face and be like, think you could eat more than me? And that I have like the best deflectors for that, because that's like I could deflect like a sauce boss type character. I'll turn around like, I would never eat more than you, and I'll hug them, you know.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
and
where's
they'll be
this
like, oh
coming
wait,
from?
this guy's been acting this thing this whole time. You know what I mean? And I was just filming a Universal City Walk. And it was so cool for me because I'm like, whoa, like I'm Canadian, so I'm like Universal City Walk's the coolest thing, entertainment capital of the entertainment capital. You know, I fucking love this place. And now there's a camera there, and they had like my picture up. It was so cool. I'm like, whoa, I'm like famous again for today.
Right.
And, they have this camera set up, and I'm there, and I'm just like, all I'm saying is today on Famous Food Truck, and it's just the opening thing.
Right.
And I'm there, and they're like, action. I'm like, today on Famous Food Truck. And then this like grown woman goes, wow, so good. You're so talented. Like, wow, look at you. And like, I kind of like a troll.
Yeah, yeah.
So like a troll in real life is even better. And I was like, turn around, I'm like, well, Mom, why don't you come over here and you'll see what we're serving up in the second half of the day. Come on, bring the kids too. And I just went off, and she like kind of just walked away. But the cameraman came to me. He's like, that's so weird that you're here, and that woman felt like she had to like kind of like burst your bubble in a strange way of being on the show there. And I was like, I didn't see it like that.
Right.
And he did. I thought she was just like kind of like, wanted to rise out of me.
Right.
Wanted to like, not like burst my bubble, but that's how he took it. But I took it like, if someone, like you've taken a million pictures with people.
Right.
That dad is looking at you and he's like, my daughter knows this guy. This guy's important. Like, I can go up to him and tell him a picture. What kind of sentence can I fabricate so that it's not annoying or it's different or that I'm not a creepy old fan? Or what if this guy does like a weird, like shirtless boy band dancing type pretty boy thing that my daughter does called like the pretty dancing shirtless tea party.
So far from
show.
that.
Yeah. And like, what if
I wore many shirts. I wore a skin shirt.
It's like, what if it's like that? And it's like, he doesn't want you to get the wrong idea of him. So he overthinks it.
Right.
And I've come to notice that there is a pattern of people that occur, and you will only fall into this if you overthink the encounter.
Totally.
And I think that's an overthought encounter.
You're right.
Where he comes in and it's just like, you're like, piece of advice. You just like, you wouldn't go up to someone and be like, hey, don't like your stuff, but this guy does, and it's true.
Right.
People forget that it's just a people to people encounter. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to think too hard. But like my common encounter that will occur.
Right.
Will be like someone might come and be like, oh, like, take a pic. Like, yeah, man. They're like, I fucking hate vegans. And I'm like, no, they're cool, man.
Oh,
I'm
man.
like, I don't get.
And
I'll be like, dude, I don't get caught about like what's not in a meal.
Right.
I'm more about what's in the meal. So no disrespect. And they're like, oh, I didn't mean it. And I'm just like, oh, he wanted to connect with me.
Yeah.
But he only knows a character. So like it was an overthought thing.
Totally.
And like I get it because it's like it's so strange. Like even to this day, some picture scenarios will, and I'm not a guy that gets embarrassed or shamed or cringy, but some picture scenarios will make me cringe. And it's been 8 years.
Right.
Sometimes someone will look at me and like then they take out their phones, like it's a guy and a girl, and like they're both like looking, and I see their camera apps are open and they keep staring at me and whispering and glancing back, and I'll walk over like, hey, what's up, guys? And they're like, hey, I'm like, you guys want a picture? They're like, no, it's cool.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, your pictures are open. They're like, oh, what? How'd that happen?
Yeah, crazy.
And like, it's like I wanted to just do it, and then it's funny because it's like now I'm there and I got rejected and taking a picture with them.
Right, now you're like the weird douche.
I'm like, hey, you want a picture with the bacon boy?
Yeah.
Sauce. Like,
famous Harley over here is willing to bless you with a photo of his face.
Yeah.
I know.
And it gets to a weird place. You want to like, I don't know. The photo encounters are strange. And like, like I've dated girls where like some people would come by and be like, can I get a photo? But let me take a picture for you. Or if they stare at me, like some girls, they'll go over and be like, do you want a picture with him? It's totally cool like that. And I've never said no to a picture ever. And
right.
then sometimes I've dated girls that are like, when someone comes like, can I get a picture? They like immediately walk away. They're like, I don't want to be there in this weird encounter where
right.
this guy is, having this moment. And yeah.
I remember I was at, I was shooting actually something with David. And so there were all these like young kids around, and they're like, not young kids, but like 19, and, I don't know, 22. And
crazy,
they're
eh?
drunk. Yeah, crazy. What am I talking about? And they're like drunk. And I just remember like a kid looks at me, one of the guys, and he's like had too much to drink. And he like puts out his arms in front of everyone, gives me a massive like hug me, brother. And that's like my catchphrase from Drake and Josh. And I just look at him as I would look at most people who do that to me, and I go, oh, dope. Like I don't know what you want from me in that moment, like, because I can't play out this fantasy for you. Although, thank you for acknowledging that you like me. And I was like, cool, dude. And he looks at me and goes, oh, you're too fucking good for that? I'm like,
that's
whoa.
mean now.
It's
like you can't hug a stranger, and if a stranger doesn't want to hug you, and you say, like, you insult them, it's like we totally just tore down all barriers of human beings
right.
and social interactions.
Yeah.
Based on like literally a fantasy expectation.
Well, and that's totally it, because I see people sometimes when they're like, if they approach me and I see them cooking something up, and I want to be like, because I know in their head they're like, wait till he catches it. Like, he's never going to expect this one.
Yeah.
And then, like they give me the hug me, but I'm like, it's only the most recognizable catchphrase from the show. It's like, it's like, going up to, I don't know, like Justin Timberlake and be like, bye, man. Like,
But it requires something from him too, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like, yo, do the dance with me.
Right.
Like, so what people will do with me is, and you don't have this deflection because like I also played like the character as an asshole.
Right,
and
right.
You've always
of
been
course.
like a great dude. So I can pull out the asshole card, and sometimes like a guy will take out his phone, and I don't want to do this. I don't like to being told what to do anyways. It's a weird thing I have. So like,
of course,
this guy comes up to me or someone will come up to me and he'll like take out his phone and he'll be like, yo, say bacon strips and bacon strips and bacon strips with his phone running in my face. I'm like, what, you think the sauce boss is some monkey bitch? Some circus monkey that does tricks for you, bitch?
That's
and
incredible.
then I'll stop and he'll be like, yo, that was mean. And I'll be like, dog, that was the sauce boss.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me. I'm like, if you want a picture, I'm like, hey, come over, ask nicely, I'll do it. I'm like, but you asked the sauce boss if he wants to do his catchphrase, and you got the sauce boss. I'm like, that's how he would do it. I'm like, I'm just putting myself in the character, and it's like,
that's incredible.
Well, it's almost because like on the spot, I get to have that moment like, I don't want this. I'm like, let me hide behind this character for a second. Like, get that shit out of my face.
That's
and I remember
amazing.
talking to Adam Richman, actually, Man vs. Food, way early, like 2011. And he saw this video where I was like, someone came up to me and said something. I was like, don't even touch me with those fingers. Because like a random person grabbed me. He was like, I saw that. He was like, I'm so jealous you could do that. He goes, because I remember one time I was on the phone and some dude was like, yo, Man vs. Food, can I get a pic? Can I get a pic? And I was like, oh, sorry, dude, 1 second, I'm on the phone. He was like, it was bad news. And I'm on the phone. And the guy was like, yo, dog, like, it's literally a pic. It'll take a second. And he was like, man, what's your problem? This is a serious phone call. Can you give me a second? I was like, wow, you're an asshole like that?
Oh,
you're an asshole. And, like, he was like, I wish I could have done what you did. He's like, but I'm attached to a brand. Like, I couldn't have done that in that moment there. And I was just like, I always remember that because I never thought about it, even like yourself, you know?
Right.
Like, Josh Peck is not an asshole. The sauce boss can sometimes do it. So I've hidden behind that before.
Right.
I've been like, bitch, don't tell me what to do.
Oh,
you know?
that's
like,
beautiful. I gotta create a sauce boss. Damn it. A Stefan.
Evil Josh.
Yeah, right? God. That's a dream. It's one place we messed up on a Drake and Josh. Well, I don't want to take any more of your day, dude, but I love you.
I got a lot to do, so.
This was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, can I plug something?
Plug it up. Plug nonstop.
And just to tell you conversationally also, I want to send you a package of it. I made a jerky called Pizza in a Bag.
Great.
And
Tell me more.
It got picked up at Walmart, and
Nice.
it's in a triangle bag, and it's pepperoni jerky, and there's like supreme and pepperoni and buffalo, and they all taste exactly like pizza.
Oh my
and
God.
I do keto. I did keto, like low carb, like high protein, high fat, low carb. There's literally like 3 grams of carbs in the whole bag, and it tastes like pizza.
Oh my God.
Every single Walmart, pizza in a bag.
Is it on shelves now?
April.
Yeah, beautiful.
Since April, it's been on shelves.
Since April. Now that it's mid-August, no, that's sick. Dude, that's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
love it.
I want to send you a bunch of them. Throw me like a P.O. box or something or whatever. I'm going to send you a box. It's going to come with like a nice little handwritten letter for you. But for you guys, pizza in a bag. Go check it out.
Go buy
It's
that
good.
immediately. Anything else?
Yeah, Harley plays on everything. Epic Mealtime. Can you believe they still do it, those idiots?
I know, every Tuesday apparently.
People are always like, whoa, like, are you surprised like you're on this Food Network show and you're still doing Epic Mealtime? I'm like, yeah, I was joking. I was joking when I did that first episode.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was good seeing you, by the way. I haven't seen you since iHeartRadio, I think, in Vegas. You
Yeah,
know,
a few years ago.
It's so crazy because like I'll still follow you on everything and I see everything you're doing. So it's like so strange when like I see you and there's like a weird like hasn't skipped a beat moment. But
Right.
It was really awesome. Hopefully you guys could hear this. Genuine high five.
That's right, listeners. Thank you, dude.
Peace.
That's it. That happened. You've listened. It's over. Finished. Harley. What a guy, right? A mensch. A good dude. Smart, funny, talented, but just a good guy. We've got a similar ethos. We got a similar way of looking at the world, which is what I've always loved about him. Check out his pizza in a bag. It's so good. Supersnacktime.com. He actually sent me a bunch of them after this interview, and I ate all of it. And I don't regret it for a minute. Nope. Still don't. Thank you guys for listening. It's always a pleasure to bring you this pod. I have so much fun doing it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't listen to it at all. Maybe you just tune in for the outro because that's your thing. You love a good outro. And if that's the case, it's weird. That's weird.